Hey guys, okay, so today for today's entree, today's main dish, we're gonna make some tomato basil pasta. I'm actually not sure which is better, but we'll go ahead and try it both. Now, a couple things just to see, so you can kind of see. Yesterday I made homemade pasta, which obviously takes a little bit more time. That's really good when you have the time. Not even that it was difficult or super time consuming to make, but the cleanup is a little bit. So maybe not something you would want to do just like on a regular weeknight. So this is an easy one for a regular weeknight. So we do make this in a couple different classes. We're going to start with our olive oil. We're going to put about 2 tablespoons in the bottom of our skillet. Obviously, before we started, we had our hair pulled back.
Hair back and hands washed.
Hair back, hands washed. So we had that ready to go. I went ahead and got my water on to boil for the pasta because that takes a little bit of time, and just like usually I will tell you in class, that is what can take you the longest. Now, I do have fresh basil and I love fresh basil, but I don't necessarily love it when we're cooking it like this. So it's not that you want to cook the fresh basil. So that first one was just kind of a guess. Again, thinking about how you like basil. In our house, we do love, mainly because I love it. So we do like basil, so we use it with a lot, but we're just going to kind of cook this in the oil. Now, whenever you're baking or cooking, if you can kind of get your oil, the flavor that you want it, you don't want to burn it, okay? If I had fresh garlic, cloves of garlic, I would absolutely use that. But you guys know my situation with that. I'm not going to the store right now. So if I don't think of it ahead of time, I don't have it. I would probably prefer garlic cloves in this. It's about 3 cloves of garlic. We're going to end up using about 1.5 teaspoons of garlic powder. And we're just going to cook this just a little bit. Okay. Again, I'm not looking for it to burn. This is a really good thing. If you've ever made like homemade sauce, which is kind of like, this is a good starter. This would be like a good base as a homemade sauce. Whenever if your garlic would burn, you got to get it out of there. Okay. So sometimes even in our house, because I'm not trying to bite down on garlic, if I am making something with fresh garlic, I'll get the flavor in the oil and then I'll just kind of scrape that out. Now, this is an easy one because it is so few ingredients. You'll kind of see my water is boiling. We don't add pasta till our water boils. I'm going to take that lid off. I won't need the lid again because once you put pasta in the water, your pasta will create its own lid, its own vacuum. Now, I use about 3 cups of uncooked pasta. And you can play with that. We are not, and I honestly, remember this is a colander. I'm trying to kind of make things faster so you guys aren't watching me do everything. Yes, honey. Just the most important parts, because obviously I know nobody wants to sit and watch a bunch of videos, especially on a day like today when you could be outside. Okay, so we're going to let that go, and that takes about 9 minutes. Alexa, set timer for 9 minutes, please. Okay, so I'm going to check on our...
Starting now.
I'm going to go ahead and check on our oil. If you kind of see that, it's starting to sizzle. This is just about perfect, okay? You can kind of hear it. You have to be careful because if you burn those seasonings, then you're going to get that burnt flavor. Now, this part is going to get a little bit messy. I have to wash my hands since I just touched my face, but I'm probably going to get some tomato sauce on myself anyway. So... I'm going to pour it in slowly. I'm going to go ahead and pour the entire can in. Okay? So if you guys are like my family, not necessarily, I'm going to kind of let those cook for a little bit. I'll put this lid on. Not necessarily loving tomatoes, which is kind of funny. So I have to hide them in there. They like salsa, ketchup, spaghetti sauce, but throw a real tomato at them and it's almost a crisis. So we'll let those cook. About the time when our pasta has about 1 minute left, okay, I'll go ahead and I'm going to add in mozzarella cheese and Parmesan cheese. And then once that is melted and smooth, then I'll add the pasta back in, okay? All right, so I'm gonna pause you. We'll let this go a couple minutes and then I'll come back. Guys, okay, so a couple things that I did do, and I just wanted to kind of let you know. I did add salt to the water for my pasta. If you add the salt to the water for your pasta, that's the only time that you really have to add flavor to the noodles themselves. It usually doesn't matter because it's not like most people are just eating plain pasta noodles. The other thing I did that you do not have to do, and you probably won't find this on most sites, but I ended up mashing the tomatoes, okay? That is absolutely probably not how this is supposed to be. But remember who I'm cooking for. My people don't want tomatoes. So this would be another version of a masher, but this is going to leave kind of big pieces. So we did want it to get as small as we could. Once I add my cheese in, I need to make sure that I'm ready to stir nonstop. So we're going to add about 1.5 cups of mozzarella, okay? Using our wooden spoon. We know the acid from the tomatoes. We're not trying to use a metal spoon on that. We want to keep our flavor true. We're going to stir this up. My pasta was done. The timer went off, so I went ahead and put that in the sink. I didn't rinse it. Honestly, I feel like that's like a personal preference kind of a thing. And I don't always rinse it. Again, kind of depends on what I'm going for. For my Parmesan cheese, I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons. And then I'm sure people are going to add Parmesan to their own as well. Remember this week, part of your assignment is to make sure that you are eating with someone. All the research talks about how good it is when you sit down and share a meal. It does not have to be dinner, okay? Maybe it's breakfast, maybe it's lunch. Doesn't have to be the whole family, doesn't have to be a ton of people. Maybe it's, one person. Maybe you're going to go sit with someone. Maybe this week everybody's on vacation. Or maybe, you have a friend in another class that you want to share a meal with. So maybe you could call them on Zoom or however you guys are kind of doing that. FaceTime. Zoom might just be like an education thing. But, okay, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to add my noodles in, hopefully without making a giant mess here. If I kind of dump them out, I didn't add oil to the noodles. Sometimes people do. I did not. I'm going to kind of add these and see if I can get them all. Okay. Not adding them at once because, again, I want this cheesy tomato sauce to cover all of the pasta. I use the entire can. If you didn't want to use the entire can, you wouldn't have to. But I knew we were going to have a lot of pasta here. And I probably, again, just knowing the people that I'm cooking for, I will probably leave some of these plain because Caroline's probably going to eat maybe butter, maybe Parmesan cheese on hers if I'm lucky. So I won't necessarily do it. But this is a good one. This is super, super easy. I will try. I will take pictures. I actually have gotten a lot better at that. I don't know how to place them on YouTube though. So I just know how to put them in the Google Classroom when I share the link. Oops. I don't want to spill that there. Okay. But if you can kind of see. Oh, actually, that might be a pretty good shot. But if you can kind of see, this looks pretty good. And this is one that we like. Super, super, super easy. Not at all pricey. Probably most of these you might even have on hand. So this would be a good one, an easy one to try. And you can kind of play around with it too. If you wanted to add salt and pepper, maybe you like spicy things. Maybe you want to add a little crushed red pepper. Whatever you want to do. But I did start to set the table behind me just to kind of remind you that for your setting the table assignment, don't set a full table. If all you are using, if all we're going to have is this tonight, which to be honest, it probably is, and we probably will just sit at the kitchen table, all we need is a fork, okay? So just kind of thinking about what you need. We don't have to be excessive. You want to do what you have, make it simple so you can actually enjoy it. So, okay, I hope you guys are doing great and staying healthy and happy and safe, and I can't wait to see you. Bye, guys.